Hi there, after a short holiday of riding the Chief, the time has come to start the Sport Scout, the stroker engine we were building. I had this tank since I started my first Indian 15 years ago. It was a Scout engine, so I used it also on this engine. I am feeding the engine with oil over here. The oil returns in this tube and comes back. Gasoline feeding on the other side. The electric is simple. It's the minus of the coil going to the condenser and the pointers over here. A plus that will go to the battery and the minus that will go to the frame of the engine. Now I will put it down and start it up. I was putting oil in it, taking out the spark plugs first, rotating the engine. I was putting oil into the transmission, rotating the engine, so I'm sure oil is all over and oil is also going into the engine. So now I'm really ready to start up the engine. Stroker has started. It was revving quite high. Unfortunately, it was on time lapse, the camera, when it did so. It was revving quite high, so I will try to put the idle screw a little bit lower, but there is not very much space. It was running quite high. The advance was also correct, but it was cracking the return line. So maybe the line was old, this one, or we've got too much pressure. Another thing I could see is that it was starting to smoke. That means that too much oil was accumulating, or there was too much oil in the crankcase. I also want to check we have an oil level over here and see how much oil will come out. Looks like the tube was just melted by the flames coming out from the exhaust, so now I came more into this direction with the return pipe. I will mount it going out on this side. Retarded maximum. No más. It is starting, but always without a choke, so that means it's a lot of gasoline. Here I am with the carburetor idle screw maximum turned out, so it still runs in high RPM. I want to take out the carburetor and check a little bit the gasoline level and also the throttle position over here. And then we start again. I saw it has all these beautiful paint lines, so it really means that this carburetor was checked and well set up and everything, but the engine was running in high RPM, so I decided to open it up. The throttle is fully closed, yeah, the screw is fully out, and in here it doesn't close. I don't know if you can see that. So that should be sitting down between those two little points. Between that two little points that still have some machining dirt inside, as I can see. Another strange thing I could see is at the point when they say this needle is sitting and this screw is at the bottom here, and it has also a line, they put it at 1.5. I can clearly see inside this needle doesn't sit in the body over here in that hole. I don't know if it sits lower or not, but this is only something we can guess. I will set it as it was. So actually in this case with the closing, it was just this screw that wasn't tightened and it was not marked, so that should have been tightened by me before starting the engine up. And I was also checking the level. The level is at its highest point. I will measure that and see how much I have. I can see also the floater doesn't close good, so if you put it like this should be closed, but air is still going in. I will also measure exactly the point where this is closing and see if it needs any adjustments. So I found two things that were wrong, but also not marked with paint. So actually what's marked with paint could be very correct. One was the float level was going too much up. The book says 1 per 4 inch, that is 6.35 millimeters. It was only 4.5 millimeters, so it had too much gasoline, as I suspected. And so that was one of it. And the second one, the throttle was not closing completely. Now it is. So I could also see that the needle doesn't sit very good in the body, but I hope that is just what I can see, and more deep it is conical and it is somehow closing it. Yes, now I will mount it back and try to start it again. Good morning from Brasov. Today I decided to work outdoors so I can start it better over here and not get intoxicated. What I have discovered, yesterday I had a broken coil that was only running in high RPM and in some strange situations. Now I replaced the coil and it is running very nice. I will record another startup of it. Some gas, retard completely. Much better than yesterday. I want to let it run a little bit more and then inspect the primary and inspect everything. Yes sir, this sounds very good.